Hello and welcome to Keff's F2P guide to the King of Fighters Allstar. I'm a totally free-to-play player on KOFAS, and that's because of my philosophy to play the game with limited resources. This series was made with that in mind, so you get the most value out of your rubies. You don't have to like or subscribe, but I really hope that you find this series of videos useful. This is part 3 of a 3-part series on battle cards. In this video, we'll be talking about special cards, and since there's not a whole lot to say about them, we'll also be talking about how to get battle cards as well. So you ready? Right, ready, let's dive right into it. So the first thing we'll be talking about are what special cards are. So special cards are these cards that give your fighters the ability to use finishers or special active skills. These always require the PG or power gauge bar to be filled in order to use them. So the first and the oldest kind of special card would be the 5PG special card. So what is a 5PG special card? So a good example would be Kyo's special card over here, the Ura 121. Which would say here that it requires 5.0 tiers of PG consumption. So these were there at the start of the game. These basically came with the very first vanilla version of the game, and they do require an entire bar to be filled in order to use this special card. So you'll notice that whenever your unit has a full bar, then only it lights up. So how does this differ from the other kind of special card, which is a 3PG special card? So you're going to hear these terms tossed around a bit. There's 3PG and there's 5PG. Let's use one example of a 3PG special card compared to a 5PG special card so you can see the difference. So a 3PG special card is over here, right? So it says that there is a PG consumption of 3.0 tiers, and this is the same card that you would get when you complete the Athena, I think it's the special Advent mission, which you can find under the Advent dungeon. We'll talk about that a little bit later, and you can craft this card as well. So what's special about these 3PG cards is that even though it's the same rarity, it's 5 stars as well in this case, what you can do is that you can already use this active skill the moment you reach 3 bars of your power gauge, right? And the easiest way to tell between the two, you don't have to click into them all the time. You can tell between the two by looking at the symbol on the bottom right hand corner. So you can see that a 5PG special card would have this green P sign on it, right? And then for the 3PG special card, it's the same thing. I know it's in Japanese, but bear with me here. So it's the same, but it's red in color, right? So that's the difference between the two. So those are the two gold special cards. Some units only come with 3PG special cards. That would be some of the collab units. A nice example would be this one over here. Haomaru only had a 3PG special card. And some units only come, of course, with 5PG special cards. So this has evolved over time. Constantly new cards are being added, and these days almost all the special cards that are being added are 3PG special cards. So what's happening these days, right? So the new special cards that came out after a while of the game's launch were the 3PG special cards that were character specific, of course they're all character specific, but they also had character specific skills attached to them. Right, so a great example would be, let's say it's let's take Kyo's one as an example. So Kyo's one, this one actually came out after after the SS Kyo special card came out, but I'll use this as an example. So this one is a 3PG special card. It's got a consumption of 3.0 tiers of PG. Exactly, and then that's what really that means that you can actually just consume 3.0 power gauges. But what's really cool about this one is that it also has a unique ability on top of it, where it deals additional burn damage equals to 50% of attack when attacking a burn enemy. So it's just a bit more powerful than before. And these days, on top of everything that you have already, you have your normal 5PGs, you've got your gold 3PG cards, you've got your FES 3PG cards. FES ones are these 6-star ones over here. And then you've got FES 3PG cards with extra stats on top of them. So those are the ones that you would find from the Guilty Gear collab onwards. And in fact, you would find them also with this SF5 collab, right? The Street Fighter 5 collab as well. So these are pretty cool. Let's take, for example, okay, I'll just take the ones from Dizzy for an example, because I've got a bunch of those special cards. Let's see. So these actually come with additional stats. I am blind, okay. Yeah, I've got a couple of these. So these come with additional stats where they say special effects increases attack by 2%. So that's interesting because basically you add on an additional stat on top of it. It's not that much more powerful than your normal FES 3PGs, but they do add additional stats. So there's value when equipping more than one of these as opposed to one of the generic special cards. So we're going to be diving into one of my characters so that we can see what kinds of special cards you can equip onto them. A good example over here, let's use Bison. He's got a bunch of special cards. Right, so you've got your main special card over here. And then you've got this one, which is a brilliant special card. So how do you get this brilliant special card? I'll walk through it a bit later. But this is a generic special card. What it does is that because you now have the ability, once awakened, to equip 2 special cards, only the first one actually does anything. The second one is just there for stats. So the second special card that you put on just for stats, you just want to put in something that's pretty decent, right? That boosts the stats quite a bit. It doesn't really matter what kind of special card there is. You can also put in a generic one like these, right? So this is, I'll just go in. This is a brilliant special card. It's generic. And this is a radiant special card. So it used to be 5 stars, then you can upgrade it to 6 stars. But in general, I think the stats for the brilliant one are just a little bit better. Right, so this one gives about 1098 CP, and this one gives only 583, even though they're both at the maximum level. Right, this is just for stats. It doesn't really affect that much. The difference comes in if you have 2 of these like stat-based special cards. So my Dizzy is really stacked. You can see her CP is pretty high. But you can see that what I did was I equipped one with critical damage, and the other one also at critical damage. Right, so in this case, critical was great for her because of the stats given from this set card set. I know it's a bit complex, but that's what you can do with the additional special card slot. Right, so it's all really minor in terms of what kinds of stats that you can get from the special cards, especially in the second slot. So as I mentioned, for cards like these, actually this is not a great example. Dizzy was a pretty decent example. So for cards like these, you would have critical damage by 6%. You would also have active skill damage. I think this was one that was... Oh, this was attack. And this was also attack. Yeah, and there's one more that actually just gives active skill damage. I'm not sure if I have one of those, to be honest. I gotta figure out which of my units has it. But just so you know, the last stat does give active skill damage. Ah, okay, maybe Eno has it. Yeah, there you go. Active skill damage by 4.5%. So the difference is really minor. My recommendations for the stats does differ according to how you're building your character. As you can see, my Dizzy came with critical damage for hers in her special card slot. But in general, attack is pretty good to have as this extra stat, since it's a balance between giving you more CP and damage. But what I was trying to do with Dizzy was to give her more CP instead of just pure attack. So crit damage in certain scenarios can actually give more CP than attack. However, in most cases, attack actually does give more dot damage over active skill percentage, because active skill percentage, that just affects the main damage from the active skill. Right, so you don't have to worry if you don't understand a lot of this. It doesn't really matter all that much. It's just very minor. So if you don't have, you know, another set card, don't go out of your way to go grab one. You can just use one of these generic ones as well. Great. So for your second special card, as I mentioned, just put in another one of these cards if you have it. Otherwise, just use Radiant. Radiant is this one, or a Brilliant special card. And I'll tell you more about how to get each of these cards a little bit later. Okay, so that's in a nutshell all you needed to know about special cards. Now we're going to be talking about how to get these cards. Okay, so there are going to be a few ways that you can get cards, and I'll recommend some ways over the others. So the first way is, of course, you can always just summon them, and they are put almost always alongside another one of these banners. So right now we're in the middle of the Street Fighter V collab, so you can get any of the special cards from these card banners. So this could be Volume 1 or Volume 2. I'm like pretty close to the pity for Volume 1, and at the end, of course, you do get your battle card selector. So until now, I still haven't gotten a single one of Ryu or Luke's special cards, so I'm just saving up for that one. And then Chun-Li's one is not bad as well. So you can see that you can choose between attack, skill, and crit here. For each of the Street Fighter V ones, I would probably say go with attack. just because they all do quite a bit of dot explode damage. But it's entirely up to you. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Right, that's for limited banners. But of course, you can always look at the generic banner as well. So I haven't done mine for today. You can always just summon your free one. And let's see what I get. Haha, it's a yellow card. This used to be useful. This one set card for like getting gold. Could still be useful if you're lacking a gold farm team. So you can also select from the pickup list what kinds of cards you want. Right now I don't really need anything. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will just switch it around so that I can maybe pick up another of this set. It's not too bad. Oh, actually, yeah, maybe I'll just pick up another one just in case. Yeah, so we can just get a Kaya set again if you want. For the normal cards, like I said in my previous video, for the yellow cards, I would definitely recommend Strategic Retreat as well as Unreal Peace. You know why? Because I do value the TPG gain. And actually, in terms of my third card, I'm just going to select this one. You can see which cards I value the most, given that I've got so many of these Christmas Kasumi cards. I think it's even more obscene how many Strategic Retreat as well as Unreal Peace cards I have. So that's how you can get cards. But what I would definitely not recommend is you actually using rubies on this banner. Why? Because you actually do get quite a number of tokens in order to summon from all the time. So definitely just use the tokens. You can get them pretty easily. Plus, there's nothing really limited about this banner. You're always getting tokens. You're always getting other ways of getting these cards as well. Right, so nothing today. I'm not worried about it. And then what I do is I just keep stacking these tokens as well. So you can see I've got like 238 of these. And I think like 3 of these 10 summon tokens. Right, I'm just saving them up because sometimes there's carnivals that come along or other reasons to summon for battle cards. Maybe they haven't added any new battle cards to this in a while, in the Unified banner for a while, but like if they do, then at least I'm kind of ready for these. You can also get battle cards, especially the 6-star cards, like the Kaya card that I recommended earlier in one of my videos, or any of the current set cards from spending diamonds to summon from the Kaya special summon banner. So this is at a pretty decent rate. Actually, you have a 30% chance of getting a fast card set and a 20% chance of getting a fast option or a special. Right, so it's not too bad. You can pull from this banner if you do have a bunch of diamonds lying around, and the way you get diamonds is of course from summoning, just as I did from one of the banners. Right, so my recommendation is definitely don't go about using rubies on a unified banner. Save it for the limited banners, which is really what Netmarble wants you to do anyway. Right, so that's summoning in terms of how you can get cards. You can also just pick up cards from all of these like tickets that you often have. Right, so this is from the Epic Quest. They give Epic Quest specific cards, so don't expect anything too fancy from this. And there's also the Epic Advent set cards. I'll talk a bit about that later, but they do give like the normal 5-star sets. And then there's also the the battle card summon tickets. Right, you get these every once in a while. They're basically the same as what you can get in the Unified banner. It's just that you don't get loyalty points for it, as it says here. Yeah. So, in my opinion, if you were getting stuff from the Unified banner, you should also definitely finish off your sets before trying to shoot for more options, because the sets are more valuable in a sense. Right. Once you finish off a set, you have like quite a chunk of power already added to your unit. So try to finish off your sets before trying to get more options in that sense. Right. So that's another way of getting set cards. Battle cards in general. And then you also have one more. Another way of getting it, which is the weekly card dungeon. Right, you've probably already noticed this while playing. This is the card dungeon. It now goes all the way up to tier 15. At some point, I think it was only up to like tier 3. But they've constantly added levels to this, and it's kind of fun to clear it every time they add new levels to this, because the difficulty does go up quite a bit thanks to the CP that you need to clear each of these. So what you can do for each of these like street operation or what we call the weekly card dungeon, is that you can just go in, you clear it all the way until the top level that you can clear it. Don't sweat it if you can't clear 164,000 worth of CP. Maybe I'll make a video just to show you how to get your CP to that amount. but you can also just clear it at the highest level that you can get. The reason why you need to clear this is because you get the skill rate up cards, right, that you need to level up your battle cards in the first place. So I'll talk a bit about which levels of this weekly card dungeon that you need to clear as high as possible, right? So which levels you would choose to clear at any point in time. So the minimum one I think you should try and shoot for is the 60 AP one. I think that one gives quite a good level of efficiency. Plus, it gives you the chance to get. It's a very, very small chance, so don't think it's like huge, but it gives you the chance to get even the current banners cards. So as you can tell, these are currently only available on the Street Fighter banner, but there's a tiny chance that you might be able to get one of these cards within the weekly card dungeon, right? So what I personally do is that I save up a bunch of AP whenever a new card banner comes out that I really want something from. I spam this card dungeon, but that really does require quite a bit of AP to do, as you can tell, because there's like it goes all the way to 115 AP just for one run of this. Yeah. So there is a little bit of difference between the tiers as well after you've reached the tier 6 mark. So at tier 5, I think you don't. Let's see. Yeah. Oh no, at tier 5 you still get the cool stuff. I think it's at tier 4. So just check the list of cards to make sure that you have the ability to get what you want, even though the chance is tiny and low, right? So okay, I think it's at tier 2 that you have no chance of getting anything cool from it. It's at that's at tier 4 onwards that you get a chance of getting something cool from it. Yeah, this goes all the way up to tier 10. At the 90 mark, it's still the same list of rewards that you can get, but there is a difference at the 95 mark. So if you compare it, at the 90 mark, you have this list of items. At the 95 mark, there are two more very curious cards that are added on. One is this one, the rare Transcend material card, and the other one is a natural 6-star Transcend card. Right, so each of this is really important for transcending. So at the very least, I would recommend clearing at tier 11 onwards, because there is a chance of getting these cards. They're really useful for transcending any of the battle cards that you might have. And it used to be that I think you wouldn't be able to get any of these battle cards if you try to do the stage normally. These days, I think they've added on the ability to get the battle cards if you do the stage normally, so you can just grind it. What I kind of prefer to do is to just skip ticket it, just because it's easier for me. Right, so it's a lot faster as well. Each of these stages takes forever to clear. Yeah, it's like 2 minutes or 3 minutes to clear automatically. That's assuming if you can clear it also, because like the later stages, they do require a lot of CP so that you still do damage as well. Yeah, so that covers the weekly card dungeon. I would also recommend trying to coincide it with a dice or a world drop event so that you're able to make the most out of your AP whenever you're doing any of these like spamming of the card dungeons. So there's a third source of battle cards as well. You can definitely also try doing the Epic Advent cards. This is one way that you can get some of the card sets that are not available in banners at all. So you can see you actually get tickets for these. I have been collecting them and not using them. You also get the crafting materials for these as well. So this is the green Epic Crystal and the grey Epic Crystal. So what this is used for is to craft these battle cards in particular. So it will be the Nest set, it will be the Mr. Big set, and I've crafted all of them already, so I can't get any more of these. Yeah, so there's also other battle cards as well that you used to be able to get. I think this would be like Raging Storm, Yamigari, whatnot. Yeah, you can get these as well. Or used to be able to get these as well from completing Infinite Battle, but unfortunately that's no longer around. And you also have other cards that you can craft from completing this dungeon. That would be the Midsummer with Athena. This is how you would get the 3PG card from earlier, and that's how you craft it as well. Right, so you get these medals, and then you can use the medals to craft the battle cards for these. So I would definitely recommend completing this every day as well, and it also gives a chunk of experience. Yeah. Okay, so one last way that is not very clear on how to get battle cards as well is that you can actually combine battle cards. Right, so I'll be very careful with this. Anything beyond 3, 4, 5, anything beyond 4 stars. So if at a 5-star mark, I'll be very careful with this. But I'll just demonstrate what kind of cards you can get as well as why it's kind of effective to combine these battle cards, especially if you've been spamming the weekly card dungeon. So by combining 3-star cards, you have a very high chance of getting other 3-star cards. Oh, if you click view rate, it actually opens up like a page. I did not know that. So if you combine 3-star cards, you have a very high chance of getting 3-star cards. If you get a 4-star card, that's not too bad as well. Right, so all you need to do is hit simple combination, right? Assuming you don't need any of these, and I really don't, then you just combine them all at once. You get some of these as well. So this is a green gemstone. It can serve as the extra special card slot, but I would definitely recommend at least a 5-star and above. Right, and then I've got a bunch of these uncommon, special, and set skill level up cards as well. So I'm going to do the same thing for 4-star cards. There is a chance, again, of getting 5-star cards. Not today, but yes, you do have a bunch of rare special skill level up cards as well. So all these are great for leveling up the skills of your cards. So this one you have to be really careful. You don't want to randomly throw cards inside and then lose them. But there is a chance of getting 6-star cards as well. So what kinds of 6-star cards are these? These are like the option cards for... It's a bit unique. They're not that useful, but basically they have a skill cooldown 1 second, and then they do increase purple element fighters attack and also give you a chance of getting power. They're not that fantastic, but if you do get them, great. You can use them as like extra cards that you might want to put on some tier 2 characters or something. You also get a chance of getting these Orochi Trio set cards, right? I think the Yashiro one is actually pretty good. It's comparable to Kaya set, in fact. The other two are not that noteworthy. Yeah, but they're really rare, so I wouldn't go burning all my cards on trying to get these as well. And lastly, for the special cards, this is actually one of the ways that you can get the brilliant gemstones. Right, the other way is through the weekly card dungeon, but these are great cards to use as your extra special card that you might get. Yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much it in terms of like how you can get all of these battle cards. You can of course also always use your tickets whenever you get them, and then you also do get battle cards from like random events, right? So this Rush Dungeon shop also gave like a whole set of these really fantastic Street Fighter V battle cards. In fact, the best in slots for Ryu, Chun-Li, as well as Akuma, as we know it right now. Yeah, so that's it. There are other ways of getting tickets as well. You can also go and buy these from the Elite Exchange Shop. I personally don't do it. You can also get like the tokens from these. I actually buy these out daily because I want more cards for Transcending. These are kind of expensive, but you can also buy these out if you've got a lot of soul dust. So one other way of getting cards as well that I wanted to point out at the very end is the ability to exchange for special cards, set cards, or option cards. The selection here hasn't been updated for ages, and it's really kind of limited because these are all 5PG cards. You can't get a single of the new cards from here. So only use this if you're really desperate in terms of like the special cards. For the set cards as well, you can get fast cards from these, but in order to get the fast cards from these, you actually have to trade in other cards of a similar type. So say that you've got like, I don't know, 5 of Akuma type 3, you can actually exchange 2 of them for type 2 and then 2 of them for type 1. So it's just meant to balance out the kind of luck that you might get. You can see from here you can actually change 2 of type 1s and type 2s for like a type 3 if you really wanted to. Yeah, this works for all the other set cards as well. You can only trade out other pieces of that set for that one set that you're trying to exchange for. And of course for the Akuma one, it only lasts until, this exchange only lasts until like the 18th, so make sure that you do whatever you want to before then. And then lastly, you can also exchange for option cards. This is pricey, but if you're targeting specifically Maximus card as well as Unreal Piece over here, then you can also go for this option. What you need to do is throw in a bunch of these other cards as well. Oh, sorry, it's like 6 cards, not 5. Yeah, that's really a bunch, but only if you really want to get those cards. And it might be very useful if you're just starting out in the game and you haven't gotten any of these 2 really useful cooldown reduction cards yet. Yeah, so that's it. That's all the ways that you can pick up your battle cards, and also we talked about special cards as well. I hope you found this video really useful, and once again, thanks for watching. Let me know if you need anything else to be covered within the game. Bye for now.